Hey there, everyone. You saw what I was doing back there. That was kind of a little precursor to what this video is about. So obviously from the title you saw, and I'll explain a little bit more in a minute. My name is, of course, is Francis Ram. I am the creator of this channel and also the website, rebornmind.com. I wanted to welcome you to my newest video where I will dive into one of the steps we can take, one of the tools we can use to get to the greatest version of ourselves. Before I go further, I just want to let people know, I know that on my website, I don't have too many blog posts right now. Main purpose is, I think I have about 4 or 5 on there right now. The main purpose is because I want to have matching videos to each blog post. So right now I'm trying to catch up with the videos, and once I have all the videos that match the blog post, I'll definitely be posting more tools and steps on how to become your greatest version. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, this is a blessing. This is a new thing for me. And it's so great that I have people that are viewing, that are sharing the videos. Please share just to get the word out there so I can help more people. Same thing with subscribing. Please subscribe. I know we start small. Everything starts small. So my channel obviously is just kind of in its first phases. But I want it to grow, and it's going to grow. And the bigger it grows with your help, with sharing and subscribing, the more people I can touch. So this is the second video where I'll be diving into a step or a tool you can use to get to the greatest version of yourself. And I don't even like using the word tool because how powerful and how wonderful this step is. And this step, if you can already tell from the video title, is faith and the higher power. So before I jump in to discussing it further, I wanted to preface this video with a couple of things. First of all, faith and higher power is any way you define it. I don't want to force any of my religious beliefs on you or what I believe, because this is a personal journey. So whatever you choose to do and whatever you choose to follow, you follow. For me, I know what my faith is and how my faith is expanded, but to you, it's anything you choose. So whether you follow, to you, faith means Judaism or Buddhism, Hinduism, Mother Earth, the universe, spirit guides, anything. We're all individual people, and we all have the ability and the right to choose what faith means and define that for ourselves. So please don't ever think that I'm pushing any of my beliefs or how I perceive the higher power or the higher source to myself onto you. The second thing I wanted to talk about was, let's say you're watching this video, but you're not spiritual, you're not religious, you don't believe in a higher power, or you don't believe, maybe you're an atheist or whatever that may be. Please don't think that because you don't follow this or you don't believe in a higher power that you cannot get to the greatest version of yourself. This is something I'm doing because it worked for me, because it was part of my experience. I knew that faith and the higher power was a significant part and component of how I've been on my journey to get to my greatest version. But at the same time, if you don't believe in it, don't think that you can't get to your greatest version either. There's so many ways. That's why I have this channel, because I can make so many different videos on so many methods and so many tools that we can use. So please know that I don't want anybody to feel discouraged or excluded because I'm making this video. For those that it hits home with, or it does impact, or it does make sense to them, not make sense, it just resonates with them, that's great. But if it's not for you, feel free to still watch it. But at the same time, I'll have other tools and other videos and other ways, because there's so much out there, so much that you can use to get to your greatest version. Okay, so let's jump in a little bit into this topic. I want to keep this video somewhat short. My intro video is about 9 minutes, and my second video went up to like 23 or 25 minutes. So I'm hoping the more videos I do, the more happy medium I can find. So I'm gonna try to cover the items that I want to cover, but not make it too lengthy. I just want to get some messaging out there to you, and obviously provide you information on how you can get started on your journey, how can you progress on your journey. So the big question is, how did the higher source and the higher power help me get to this point where I am, from where I started to where I am? Well, it starts out like this. I've mentioned in my intro in my last video that I had a significant event happen in my life. Actually, a couple events within about 2 weeks of each other that pretty much got me to rock bottom. And when I got to rock bottom, it seemed like there was no hope. Everything was hopeless. I couldn't find anything in my tangible world, in the real world, no matter was it people or things, nothing was going to be able to, in my mind, fix what I broke or take away any of the pain. So the only thing I can do, the only hope that I could find was to look up at the sky, at my ceiling, whatever you want. I just looked up at the sky and I said, God, please help me. Please, please help fix what I broke. Please take away the pain. Take away the pain from my heart. Right? So the only thing I could do was ask God and the higher power for help. And this help and asking was very humbling and very, very difficult. I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm just saying is when you're at that point, when you feel like there's nothing else out there and only one aspect, it's not the asking for the help part, but it's realizing that's when you need help because everything else is to you cannot help you. A little backstory, not backstory, but how I progressed with this was, so obviously this life event happened to me. I feel hopeless, but I need a way to try to salvage whatever I have or salvage life and move forward. This is how it started. So my heart's broken, my mind is a wreck, but when I'm out at work or I'm in public with my friends, I have to keep a straight face. So I always did. I had to make sure that it was business as usual and just kept that persona going. But right when I entered my home, every day when I entered my home, I would literally instantly drop to my knees, start crying, and just start praying. Just start praying to the heavens and just praying to God. I would say to God things like, God, why am I the way I am? Why do I destroy everything that I love? I asked God, I said, please don't forsake me. Why have you forsaken me? I'd say, God, please give me a miracle. Anything to make things right. Please give me a miracle so the pain can go away and what I felt like I broke could be fixed and mended. And I used to do this for hours on end, maybe sometimes 2 to 3 hours in a day. So I'd come home from work, I'd be crying and praying from like 5 o'clock or 5:30 whenever I got home till about 8 o'clock. I'd eat dinner and I'd go right back to it. I didn't know somebody could cry that much, an adult especially, a grown man, but I did. I even found a video online on YouTube. It was called Instant Miracle. So I'd play that video on a loop over and over. So I'd play that along with me, just on my knees crying and begging and pleading for God to change my situation. So after all that begging, all that pleading, all that crying, all those hours and days and weeks of praying for a miracle, did that miracle happen? No, it did not. And I'm not telling you all this about me crying or the sadness to have empathy or for you to have empathy for me or sympathy or sadness. I did this. This was needed for me at this time. The reason I'm telling you that even though I did all that and the miracle didn't happen, what did happen was I found strength that I could not find within myself or in the physical world in the higher power. So I'm going to cover some of the ways, a couple of ways how faith can help you get to your greatest version from the start till the end. So the first thing I want to mention and how faith can help you is that it's there as a rock, as something you can lean on when everything else seems hopeless. It's a sense of comfort at the beginning of your journey. When you're at the bottom, whatever your reason may be. And a lot of people ask, why don't you get into specifics about what your event was? And like I said, I will down the road, but this fits everything. Whether it's a family issue, whether it's a job issue, your professional life, your romantic life, something impactful happened that's caused you, or maybe it's an addiction, or whatever it may be that you're dealing with. If it gets to your rock bottom, this faith can give you something to hold on and pull yourself up. There's more down the road, but faith plays that part of letting you know that there's something there that you can hold on to, get up, and stand up on both feet. Even if you can't do it by yourself, and you can't do it in this physical realm, in this physical world, there's something there that's unseen, that's above us, that's gonna help us, that's gonna help you when you are at your bottom. And a lot of the people that are watching this video, you may be at your bottom. And just know, in addition to all the things I talk about, this faith is there for you. This universal power is there for you. You are not alone. Let me put it this way. Have you ever felt very discouraged, distraught after a life event happened? Maybe somebody in your family died or passed away, or you lost your job, whatever it may be, heartbreak, heartache, physical injuries, and you felt like there's no hope, but you always had some way that you stayed afloat. Of course, you had your family and friends, telling me things are gonna be okay, but a lot of times those things, not that they don't mean a lot, but they don't carry the meaning as much as something else, because in your heart, you're just so hopeless, you can't listen to that. It's all white noise. But something keeps you afloat, and that's that unseen force. That's that higher power. So in my beginning of my journey, when I was at the rock bottom and crying and asking for a miracle, and the miracle didn't happen, it's not that the miracle wasn't happening, or it's not that things weren't happening, and I thought nobody was listening, nobody above was listening. They were listening. Things were happening behind the scenes. And as I prayed, as I progressed, as I started my journey on my greatest version, things were happening behind the scenes. Nothing happens instantly, but the best way I can prove to you that things were happening and higher powers are at work is the fact that I'm here right now making this video for you, to help you, and I'm alive. So just know that faith, whenever we feel hopeless, we feel lost at that initial point of sadness or hurt or challenge that's got us at rock bottom, faith lets us know that not all hope is lost, because you have your friends, you have your family, you have a support system. But when those seem to not work, or those seem to not carry the weight that you would want them to, faith does. Us, even as human beings, I believe it's in our nature to do that. Let's say if you're watching the news, obviously things can happen. There's an earthquake or tornado, hurricane, God forbid, some kind of terrorist attack, and people die. It's so sad, but at the same time, one thing us as human beings can come back together on is prayer and hope that we will get stronger. We pray for the people that were affected. We ask God to bless them. We ask the universe to bless them. I think it's in our nature. I know it's in our nature as human beings to reach up above the tangible and seen world and see what's unseen, because we know that there's something out there that's all powerful that can help us. Okay, so we've talked about how faith can help you in your initial spot, or your initial rock bottom, or your troubled situation. But it's also doesn't just help you there, it has something to lean on or as a rock. But the next thing I want to talk about is that it catapults you into the process. It gives you hope. So once you grabbed that branch, let's say an olive branch to be very biblical, you've grabbed the branch and you've gotten up. Now faith is going to carry you. Like I said, along with all the other tools and ways of bettering yourself and getting your greatest version, faith will carry you. It's letting you know that you weathered the storm, you've gotten through the hurricane, which is that initial hurt or pain or whatever type of issue you're going through. You made it through that initial storm, and you're standing on some dry ground, some solid ground, and you know now you can progress to that best version of yourself. One thing I've adopted as a mantra, and this very much applies to this second part I'm talking about, where it's faith and the higher power helping you in your progression now that you've gone past that initial portion, it's a mantra that I've been listening to, I've been saying, and it just means so much to me. And what that saying is, or that mantra is, everything happens in divine order. Meaning everything that's going to happen or is meant to happen will happen when and how it's supposed to happen. We have to realize, just like I did when I was spending those weeks and months praying, that when we ask for miracles, or we ask for our betterment, we ask for that path to get to where we need to, we ask for things that will help us along the way, that does not happen on our timing. It happens on God's timing, the universe's timing. It just happens at the timing of the higher power. And this concept actually should give you comfort, because that way, whatever has happened in the past or what will unfold in the past, you don't have to worry about, because If it's going to happen in divine order, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. Why that happened in the past? It happened because of divine order and divine timing. So if everything happens in divine order, don't sweat it. Let it go. Give it up to God or whatever higher power that you pray to or you worship, and give it up to them and say, wow, this is great. This is a big load off my shoulders, because I'm just going to wait and just live in a peaceful place, in a peaceful mental place, because everything will happen in divine order. This takes so much pressure off of you. So when you're on your journey to your greatest version, you don't have to worry about what's going to happen. When am I going to get to this? For me, when am I going to get to C+ Francis, or to B- Francis, or whatever that may be? I don't need to worry about it. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen, so I'm good. I was watching a guided meditation, I was listening to a guided meditation on YouTube, and I heard this line, and it very much fits in what we're talking about right now about divine order and timing. And that saying was, you are exactly where you need to be right now at this point in your life. What does that mean? That means you don't have to worry. You're exactly where you need to be because the divine forces have granted it so that you're here. Don't worry about the rest. Let it go. All you need to worry about is looking forward, knowing you can get to your greatest version. Just take a deep breath and just smile. And the thing is, as you trust in faith and you trust in divine order, things will get easier. Things will start happening. When you let go and just not worry about it, live in the present, your progression will naturally start to happen. That means you will naturally start having great people attracted to you, and that just means coming into your life. Not necessarily attracted like in a romantic way, but just great people and great things coming to your life, and you will naturally start to progress on that path to your greatest version because you've let it go and you've let divine order and divine timing take the lead. One more thing I want to talk about in terms of faith and how it helps you when you embrace faith, how it helps you in your path to your greatest version. So I grew up in a Hindu household, and my mom is still a very devout Hindu. I love her more than anything, and she is a very wonderful and spiritual person, and she practices her faith, and that's great. I grew up that way, but in my high school days and in college, I made some friends who were Christian, and I started following the Christian faith. But in the last few months that I've been doing this and embracing faith, I've noticed that my definition of faith, actually not my definition of faith, but my definition of God and higher power has expanded to a much more broad and much more amazing definition and interpretation. For me, God is the universe is God. We are made in God's image, and we're all made of stardust. Literally, I've watched a lot of videos and say we are literally made of stardust from space. So in that scenario, if we're made of God's image and we're made of stardust, God and the universe is within us. So as I started learning that, I realized that the universe has power and God has power. And that means, and since it's within us, we have power. And if we have power, we are unstoppable. I'm telling you, unstoppable. And if you're unstoppable, there is no way that you are not going to get to your greatest version. That I know. If you're unstoppable, how are you going to get stopped, baby? I know that as I've started embracing faith and embracing hope in this path, because of it, I've started to meet better and better versions of Francis along my path. And my goal, obviously, and every time I meet a new version of Francis, whether it's a couple of weeks down the road or in like a month, it's a blessing, and it brings me peace, happiness, and hope. My goal is to meet that greatest version, that A+ at the end of my path, and shake his hand. And when I do, that's gonna be glorious. That's gonna be an amazing feeling. And that's what I want for you. I want you to walk that path. Let faith and the universe and God, whatever you want to define that as, guide you and hold your hand and just carry you even to that end. To shake, because I want you to shake hands with your greatest version. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, is to help you get there. From that rock bottom of whatever that was, like I said, a heartbreak, a disease, addiction, whatever it may be, from that rock bottom, I want you to get to that greatest version. And embracing faith is a great way of doing it. That's about it for this video. I'm gonna wrap it up. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on my video on my YouTube channel or at my website, rebornmind.com. There is a comment section or a contact section where you can put in a question, submit it. I'd love to answer any questions or any feedback you may have. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please share, please subscribe. The more people I can touch, the greater of a blessing this is. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you're watching, sharing, subscribing, anything you're doing to support this. And once again, and I'm gonna say this, especially very befitting this video, may God and the universe always bless you. Thank you.